You know what they say, better late than never. RW's resident old guy is here. He's back. I'm rejuvenated. I slept. And I'm really behind. I'm a little late on this one, so forgive me, please. Because we got a fun one for you. We got a nice, fun, random ass deli match review sent to me by Chris, and it is a 4-on-1 match between Brian Cage and his opponents are Tessa Blanchard, Su Yung, Kira Hogan, and Scarlett Bordeaux. Before I go into the actual match itself, I want to give you some information on the women in this match because I had to look up a couple of these names. Tessa Blanchard, I'm sure you've heard. She currently works for Lucha Libre AAA, and she is the very first female world champion ever in wrestling, as far as I know. And she's also held the Knockout Championship for Impact. And she had a great run with Sami Callihan for the Impact World Title as well. She's also worked with Brian Cage as well before, so those two people are familiar with each other. We got Su Yung, who's also in Impact as we speak. She's a 2-time Knockout champion, and she is the Undead Princess, so she's like a zombie kind of a character. We got Kira Hogan, who is also at Impact. She is the current Impact. She's half of the current Impact Knockout Tag Champs with Tasha Steelz. And we have Scarlett Bordeaux, who is in NXT, and she is carrying Cross's valet. Okay, so we got some of that out of the way. A little info on Brian Cage, in case he's unfamiliar to you. He is in AEW at the moment. He is member of Team Taz. He is the Fuck the World Champion. And in the past, he has been the Impact World Champion, the X Division Champion. I don't know how, but he could eat the X Division. He's so big. And he is going into this match with a lot on the line, and I'll get to that in a second. Okay, so this match takes place for Bar Wrestling. That's capital BAR Wrestling. It's episode 39, and Bar Wrestling was created and is run by Joey Ryan. Although I don't know what they're doing now because Joey Ryan has some legal issues he's dealing with. So I don't necessarily know how they're doing these days, but this match takes place. So like I said, this is Bar Wrestling episode number 39, and this is quote unquote Brian Cage's bachelor party. And this match takes place on July 10th, 2019 at the Bootleg Theater in Los Angeles, California. Okay, so the bachelor party plays a key in the gimmick of this match. The stipulation is that Brian Cage will wrestle 4 women at once, Tessa Blanchard, Su Yung, Kira Hogan, and Scarlett Bordeaux, and the winner of the match receives a lap dance from the losing team. So it's a lap dance match. It's an intergender lap dance match. So when I was watching the early part of the video, some of these independent rings are pretty small. Like, nothing is as small as the ring I saw that was in the page review with Saraya Knight way back in January on the RW podcast. I think it was like Old Man Review number 7 or 8, somewhere around there. Go check it out if you want to see the video. Obviously, you want to go see the ring, look at the video. It's Paige versus Sweet Saraya. But I think independent rings are so small, and I don't know why WWE has a ring so big. They're like 20 by 20, but I guess independents have a different style, and they wouldn't be able to do what they do with a bigger ring. That's my guess. Not to mention, after watching like things like PWG and what's the other one that I watched that had like fans actually touching the apron? They were standing right by the apron. What was that one? Oh, I don't remember. Anyway, fans are able to, they're on the apron. They can touch the apron. They can lean on the apron, except for when the wrestlers are around that spot of the apron. They're pretty much leaning on it. All right, so introducing first the females, and I already talked about some of I talked about the women and some of their history. And their opponent is Brian Cage, and this is his last day as a bachelor. So that's why the lap dance is the gimmick. It's his last day as a bachelor, so he's like, we're going to have a bachelor party. He is the Machine, and that's kind of apropos because he gets joined on the apron by his WSW Tag Team Champion partner, Flip. They are the Flippin' Machines. And Brian comes out and says to Brian Cage, like, Brian, what are you doing? You were getting married tomorrow. and you're getting mixed up with this. And you guys say, but Brian, check it out. As your tag team partner and one half of the WSW Tag Team Champions, I can't let you face these 4 women on your own. Brian says back to Flip, are you trying to get mixed up in my Kool-Aid? And he points to the 4 females. He's like, I appreciate the offer, but I got this. It's like a wink, wink, wink kind of thing. And Flip just randomly asks him, hey, where's your tag team title belt? And Brian says, I left it at the merch stand. I thought that was kind of funny. All right, so we're about ready to start the match. So we got Scarlett Bordeaux walks to the middle of the ring, and she offers to give Brian Cage a lap dance right then and now. And of course, big dude with a boner falls for this. He walks to the middle of the ring, and Scarlett Bordeaux gets close to start rubbing her booty up on him, and being all sexy and everything. And then, he falls for this. He gets jumped by all 4 women, and here we go. All right. All 4 females start pummeling Cage with punches and kicks to the back. Bordeaux and Blanchard whip Cage off the ropes, but Cage reverses that and ends up receiving kicks from all 4 females. Blanchard makes a remark, that's what I'm talking about. But Tessa isn't paying attention, and Brian Cage nails her with a huge clothesline. Wham! Bordeaux eats a back elbow from Cage. Cage punches Young. Cage hits Hogan with a shoulder tackle. And now Cage is standing tall right at the beginning of the match, and already he's thinking about lap dances after the match. Cage whips Blanchard off the ropes, goes down for a backdrop, and she eats a boot from Blanchard. Cage goes for a clothesline to Blanchard, but he takes a cutter from Blanchard. Young runs the ropes and punches Cage in the face. Hogan kicks Cage in the face, then Young kicks Cage in the face, and then both of them spear Cage. Bordeaux charges Cage, and Cage tries to hit a clothesline, but Bordeaux dodges it and hits what is called a crucifix bomb to Cage. It looked really nice. She jumped up on one of his shoulders, and she wrapped her legs around the other one, and then threw him backwards. So after he takes that move, Cage bumps to the floor. Hogan attempted a tope suicida, but Cage catches her and face plants her on the apron. Blanchard attempts a tope suicida, but Cage catches her and F5s Blanchard and Cage F5s Blanchard on the apron. Young attempts a senton off the top rope to Cage, but Cage catches her. And eventually Bordeaux is able to drop Cage with a crossbody from the top rope. So it took all 4 women to drop this guy once. And when you see the video, you see why Cage is able to catch all these female wrestlers. Cage gets back in the ring and 8 super kicks from all 4 females at the same time. Young and Bordeaux drop elbows on Cage, followed by a fist drop from Blanchard and a missile dropkick from Hogan. Hogan gets a 2 count. Hogan goes for a roundhouse kick, but Cage blocks it. Cage then throws Hogan into a corner. Cage crushes Horner with 3 corner clotheslines. Corner picks up Hogan and curls her like he's lifting weights. He curls her 4 times and then throws her in the air and then catches her and then repeats the curling on the other side of the ring. Except after he's done curling her, he pretty much strongman throws Hogan backwards over his head. He eventually tries for a pin and gets a 2 count. Carter puts Hogan into a corner. Cage attempts a power bomb and Cage attempts a power bomb to Hogan out of the corner, but Hogan escapes the power bomb by pushing her feet against the turnbuckle, and the hold is released. Hogan then hits Cage with a roundhouse kick, then hits Cage with a missile drop kick, and Cage bumps to a corner. Blanchard kicks Cage's legs out and follows up with a kick to Carter's back. Cage bumps between the bottom 2 ropes. Blanchard hops out to the apron and hits Cage with a side kick to his head. Young hits Cage with a Thez press, and then Young starts biting Carter. And I'm like, careful, Brian. She's a zombie. By the way, you're getting married tomorrow. You don't want to get divorced on your first day. Get married. Just saying. Bordeaux and Hogan hit Cage with a couple hip attacks in the corner. And then a couple more hip attacks by Bordeaux and Hogan turn into a double stink face to Cage. Young charges Cage. Cage dodges, and Young is able to hit Cage with a back kick out of the corner, followed by a head scissors to Cage. Blanchard runs the ropes and hits a beautiful tornado DDT to Cage for a 2 count. And we get a 1-2 swing. Thank you, crowd. Blanchard goes to the top rope and attempts a magnum, but Carter blocks it and catches Blanchard with a buckle bomb. Carter turns around and gets a missile dropkick from Hogan. Hogan follows up with a swinging neckbreaker for a 2 count. Hogan attempts a roundhouse kick, and Carter grabs Hogan and hits a pump handle face. It was like a pump handle faceplant combo. That's what it looked like. And so Hogan takes that bump, but no rest for the weary here. There's women everywhere. Young charges Cage and dodges a roundhouse from. Young charges Cage. Cage attempts a roundhouse punch to Young, but Young dodges it and nails Cage with a stunner. Young does the Hulk Hogan, "I can't hear you, brother," gesture to the crowd, and then hits the leg drop of doom. Young does a zombified Ric Flair strut and then puts a figure 4 on Cage. Cage reaches the ropes to break the figure 4. And I'm wondering if the damage has been done here, because Carter's been hit with a few impactful moves, and it's got to think, man, if he wants that lap dance, can he make the comeback? Or will these women ruin his bachelor party before it even starts? We shall find out. Cage hits Young with two boots to the gut. Bordeaux charges Cage, but eats a boot for her trouble. Cage attempts a powerbomb to Bordeaux, but Bordeaux escapes and absolutely crushes Cage with a Canadian Destroyer. Wham! All right, Cage is out on the mat, so Bordeaux goes for a 1, a 2, and nope. 2 3/4. Cage kicks out. Cage wants that lap dance, apparently. So do the women. They're coming in with the friggin' big guns now. Bordeaux attempts another Canadian Destroyer, but eats a wheelbarrow bomb from Cage. Wham! Blanchard breaks up the pin at 2. Blanchard attempts a pump handle slam on Cage, but Cage blocks it with a shoulder tackle. Cage picks up Bordeaux and places her on the top rope. Young walks over, and Cage picks Young up in a fireman's carry. Hogan charges Cage, and Cage catches Hogan. So at this point, Bordeaux falls off Bordeaux falls off the top rope and on top of Young. Okay, so to reset the table here, Carter is holding up Young and Bordeaux on his shoulders and Hogan in his arms. Yeah. But Blanchard tries to join all the fun, but instead the spot kind of falls apart. So I was kind of interested to see what Cage would have done. That would have been kind of fun, but we don't get it. Young and Bordeaux get a hold of Carter and hold him up for a double super kick from Blanchard and Hogan. Blanchard decides to give us a close-up of her booty. She just walks right over to the camera. And thank you, Tess. I'm sorry, thank you, Tessa. Blanchard gets a 2 count on Cage. Cage is still down, and these females are just killing this guy. I mean, I don't think a lap dance is in his future, but we'll see. Still a long way to go. Young puts a mandible claw on Cage, but Cage manages to escape the claw and hits Young with a sharp clothesline. Hogan hits a super kick to Cage, but Cage responds with a super kick to Hogan. Blanchard hits a discus punch to Cage, and Cage responds with a discus lariat to Blanchard. Bam! Hit her. It looked really good. Everybody's down on the mat. The fans do the Terminator clap on the mat. Carter gets up first and puts Hogan in a corner. Carter puts Hogan on the ring apron. I'm sorry. Yeah, Carter puts Hogan on Carter. God, I'm sorry. Cage eventually puts Hogan on the ring apron. Cage climbs the top Brett's rope and then proceeds to superplex Hogan over the top rope from the apron back into the ring. Wham! And we get a 1, we get a 2, but Hogan wants a lap dance. She ain't ready to go yet. Cage headbutts Young into a corner and then puts Young on the top rope. Cage climbs up the Brett's rope. But before he can do anything, Hogan and Bordeaux attack Cage's back with forearms, and they follow up with, this is going to be good. Oh, look out below. Both Hogan and Bordeaux crush Cage with a double power bomb, wham, right to the mat. Blanchard follows up that move with a magnum from the top rope to Cage. Bordeaux and Hogan position Cage for the "was up" headbutt, And Young does the "was up" headbutt, and careful, Brian, because because Young bites. All 4 women will pile up on top of Cage, and we get the 1, we get the 2, and we get the 3. Yes, we have lap dances. We have lap dances from Cage to all the women. So let it be written. So let it be done. It's fun. It's kind of funny because the fans in the arena kind of seemed a little disappointed. I mean, come on, guys, really? Did anyone actually think anyone not named Brian Cage was doing a lap dance? Come on, get real. All right, so the women are celebrating in the ring as we cut to black. All right, so, well, I mean, that match was all it was fun, and we got lots of cool spots and some interesting. Oh, wait a minute, wait, hold on a second, hold on. Yeah, I'm getting word. Okay, yep. Okay. All right, let's go. All right, everybody. I'm getting word that we have some additional coverage. The RW Podcast field reporter has informed me that we have some exclusive coverage of some aftermatch activities that did not air in the video. All right, so what we're learning is that Brian Cage did in fact perform a lap dance for Blanchard, and then Bordeaux, and then Hogan. No, not that one, brother. However, when he tried to give a lap dance to Young was having none of it. Young proceeded to spray red mist into Cage's face, and Cage is in some agony. He's in some hurt. He's not enjoying himself. His bachelor party is off to a rough start right now. But at least the fans are throwing some money at him, right? I mean, he got tipped for his lap dances, so that should ease the pain. Okay. On to the aftermath. All right. So, yeah, that match was fun. Okay. First of all, does anyone ever think that a man like Brian Cage could get beat by 4 women at once? I'd like to say yes, depending on the ability of the women to handle themselves. So that was one of the things about this match that you had to suspend your disbelief for, in case you didn't believe that 4 women could take out one guy, especially when they're attacking one at a time, for the most part. And once you can do that, you'll see that this match was really fun. There wasn't a bad spot in this match, except maybe that little spot where Cage was carrying all the females but Blanchard, and then Blanchard tried to get up there, probably get on top of Hogan, and it all kind of fell apart. And it was cool to try. I would have loved to see if they could have actually done it and see what Cage would have done with him carrying all 4 females at once. But sometimes you don't get nice things. There was actually some solid wrestling in this match. I didn't see any part of the match that didn't look like it was a legit back and forth. Nothing seemed too forced. Nothing seemed too cheesy. The women got their shit in. Cage got his shit in. The story of the match was obviously Cage wanted lap dances, and the women put up the risk of them doing lap dances for Cage. Or I'm sorry, they ended up putting up a stipulation, said the Cage hasn't do lap dances for us. So now you know the story. And I'm sorry, this match was so much fun. A lot of cool spots, a lot of hard hitting spots, and you got to appreciate someone like Cage who would bump for some females who he is so who he outweighs them. He's bigger than them. He's stronger than them, and he still gave them something. That's something that I appreciate about wrestling matches like this. I mean, like, you have to have the give and take. No matter how big you are, eventually you have to go down. You have to go down eventually. And like I said before, I got a feeling if 4 women can handle themselves well enough, and they're not drunk or something or sick, or they'd probably be able to take Brian Cage down at some point if they tried hard enough. So just on the fact it was entertaining, and I suspended my disbelief just enough, I gave the match a 7. I really thought it was fun, and I suggest anybody to go watch this. Especially when there's 4 good female wrestlers in there who I'm sure they're ass kickers in their own right, with whatever with the respective companies that they're in. So kudos to everybody in this match. I enjoyed it. And before I go, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys some of the quotes from the announcers. I didn't catch the names of the announcers. I don't know if they said their names or not, but they had some really cool quotes in here. So I'm going to go ahead and name some of these off, and then I'm going to get on out of here. So during the initial Bordeaux attempting to, I don't want to say seduce, to try to say to trick Cage into getting a lap dance early, and he fell for it. And the female commentator called Brian Cage bachelor brain, which is kind of funny. The same female says it takes 4 opponents to match up to one Brian Cage, referring to how big this motherfucker is. The female says, referring to Cage curling Kira Hogan, he curls humans. The male commentator says, in reference to the strongman throw to Kira Hogan by Cage, was Cage just threw Kira Hogan like he was making a pizza. I think it was Kira Hogan who he was directing this towards, but the male commentator says Cage's leg is as big as she is. During the Su Yung Ric Flair spot, the male commentator says, just like fellow zombie Ric Flair, fellow zombie Ric Flair, that's crazy. The male commentator says Cage could powerbomb Bordeaux through the floor or the ceiling. It's his choice. The male commentator says Cage's neck is padded by muscle, tendons, blood, and guts. This is kind of weird, but I thought it was interesting to bring up. And guts. What kind of neck do you have? And the last one is the female says, this is what the end of a bachelor party looks like, in reference to when all the wrestlers were down on the mat. So, like I said, just fun little stuff. This is a fun match. The commentators were fun. The crowd was fun. And the performers were, I'm sure the performers were having a freaking the time of their lives in there. This wasn't meant to be taken seriously. And like I said, if you can suspend your disbelief enough, and wrestling is known to be able to let people do that, there's any bit of logic, and they'll run with an angle based on that logic. They'll have interesting matches with it. This is one of the matches that, like, it actually was kind of magical how they're able to make you think that four women can take down one dude like the size of Brian Cage, and then it actually happens. So, yeah, give it a watch. Write down in the comments what you think. Suggestions, whatever. Just comment. And I'm going to come back tomorrow with another one. Bye.